What's up, guys? We're gonna do something a little bit different today. We're gonna do a Magic the Gathering video. And I know we've mostly been doing Pokemon stuff, but if you've seen my older stuff, you know I like to dabble in everything. So what we're mainly gonna talk about today, the most are gonna be questions. I think a lot of people get the impression when people like me or whatever kind of come on and we make these videos that we are just kind of, this is the fact and my opinion is law and let me tell you what I know to be true. And that's not really what I'm trying to do here, right? This is more so me thinking out my thoughts live, well, not really live, but on a camera, and for you to kind of, chime in and agree with me or completely disagree. I'm basically just kind of spitting my thoughts, and it's a good way for me to kind of gauge what people think, and maybe people think the same way, people are thinking differently. But these are things that I'm thinking, and I think maybe you guys are too. I also think that even if you're not a Magic the Gathering person, if you're just into collectibles, stuff like that, this is something that you could probably kind of think about, and apply it to your TCG. What really prompted me to make this video, obviously, is the recent events with the Secret Layers and the Universes Beyond now being accepted into Standard. And next year, I believe about half of Magic's printings will be Universes Beyond. And if you're not aware, you're new to this, Universes Beyond is essentially non-Magic IP brands coming in and licensing them. Lord of the Rings, Fallout, Assassin's Creed. So, what are these questions that I'm asking myself? And again, this is stuff that I'm just thinking about. This isn't, oh, I know this to be fact, or this is 100%. This is just me spitballing. And the questions I'm asking myself are these. Is the Magic IP strong enough to sell Magic? Did Commander kill, damage Magic and Magic investing? The gameplay and the investing side? And then, obviously, what needs to be done to save Magic? Or you could even say, does Magic even need being saved? I think the big thing, and you can tie it to the, is Magic IP strong enough to sell Magic? We'll start with that. And I think a better way to ask this question is, if Magic didn't print Universes Beyond, would it be as successful? And I think if we just look at the data, it's going to be no. Let's just, for example, take the top 5 collector booster boxes for Magic of all time. What are they? Well, it's pretty much Lord of the Rings, Fallout, Lord of the Rings again, and then not including specialty sets like Modern Horizons and stuff. Was it then like Ixalan, which they still shoved Jurassic Park into. So, again, if they're number one, and by the way, those top 3 are by a lot, right? It's like $1,000 a box, like 600, 400, and then you're back into the other collector booster boxes, which are like 250, maybe 300, right? But most of them are around like 200. So, if we know that their best-selling product is Universes Beyond, let me just kind of just paint a picture for you, right? Who owns WotC? Hasbro, right? And basically the picture I'm painting, all I can think about in my head is walking into Walmart, Target, Toys R Us back in the day, right? And just seeing all the Monopoly and all of that, but the licensed one. The Lord of the Rings Monopoly. The Fallout Monopoly, right? And why was Monopoly, and who owned Monopoly? I believe it's Hasbro, I could be wrong. Why would they do this, right? Well, it's because no one's actually buying Monopoly. It's that they're buying it because it's, oh, my friend loves Lord of the Rings, so I'm going to buy him Lord of the Rings Monopoly. Even though it'll probably just sit on his shelf, or he'll just, right? It's because no one actually buys Monopoly. But if you throw Harry Potter Monopoly, I'll buy that. They like Harry blah da 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 da. They have no interest in Monopoly. They will never play Monopoly. They'll probably play it once. If not, they'll just sit on their shelf as like a little desk piece, right, as a collectible or something. But it's a gimmick. There's no one actually plays Monopoly for the most part, right? Obviously, there's people who play Monopoly. So all I can think about is literally just swap out that whole thing, swap Monopoly out for Magic the Gathering. And that's essentially what I'm seeing happening, is that, and this all comes down to, basically that the IP isn't strong enough, right? No one actually cares about the lore of Magic, the story of Magic, anything other than that, other than just the game mechanics themselves. That's really the only thing that people care about, right? Essentially. So it's just what's to stop another game like One Piece. It's just such a, you're basically giving up on your IP, and that is, and we'll just take, this is where I think if you're a Pokemon person, take a look at Pokemon. The IP is the strongest thing of Pokemon. Like, plus they can literally just take Pokemon, attach it to anything, and it'll sell, right? Whereas Magic, you can't just attach Magic to anything and sell it. Magic is having to bring other things to attach to them to sell it. And I don't know, like, that's got to be like major red flags, right? Like, how is that not a major red flag? All, like, again, just take Magic, replace it with Monopoly, and that's essentially what I see happening. Now I could be completely wrong, right? But I'll just say it right now. I'm not buying any more Magic. I'm not selling any of it, but I'm not buying any more. If there's something that comes out that interests me, if there's like any set that comes out that interests me, I might still pick up, like, if the fall Lord of the Rings draft and set. If I ever, like, anytime those dip to like good prices or I see them on sale, I pick them up. But that's about it. Pokemon is destroying Magic in every asset right now, in my personal opinion, as far as the IP, brand strength, just everything. They're just, Magic is so desperate right now. They're pulling out everything, serialized. They are literally pulling out every trick in the book. Like, think about this, guys. Pokemon hasn't had to do any of that. They don't have any kind of, they did like the one random collector product for $400 a long time ago, or no, like a year ago or two, but no, that's like a one-off. Pokemon's still just one booster box, $100, it's 160, whatever, but it's just one product. They have their supplementary stuff, but it's one booster pack. It's simple. There's no weird. When I got into Magic 3 years ago, I had to figure out what the difference between set and draft. And then there's Commander, there's there's so much, like, we have to think about, like, this is another thing. Just try and detach yourself for a second and try and come at this from an outsider's perspective. And how complicated and nonsensical all the Magic is, and how quick the changing up, oh, now it's just play boosters. All that nonsense, it makes it so difficult to bring in new people. And like, they have to do so much Googling, like, okay, what packs do I need to buy? What format am I playing? And then, like, if they play a bunch of Arena, like I'll be honest, I play Arena. I've been playing a ton of Arena lately. But then, so let's say you play a ton of Arena, you go to a store, oh, well, no one plays Standard there, it's all Commander. You're like, well, what the heck's Commander? I've been playing Standard on my phone. Like, I think, and that's where we kind of get into, like, did Commander kill investing? Like, did this whole Magic kind of, man, I remember, go look up, I don't really feel like inserting it here and doing the editing and stuff, but there's like old commercials you can find of like Pokemon and Magic. And they're like basically like interviewing these kids, like it's like a sports interview, and they just won like the championship or whatever, right? And it's like super competitive, like basically society, right? No, I think just the lack of competition in Magic, because Magic, the way I understood as an outsider again, right, coming into it, was that the cards had value because of their playability and somewhat of their rarity and whatnot, right? And the older stuff, right? But it was because of their playability and how competitive Magic was and all of that, right? But now, 2024, especially during COVID and all that, you had this whole game piece army and these just extreme, I don't want to get too political, but I'm sure you can, right? And they just essentially, like most, like how it works is they destroy the thing that they love, not knowing that they are the root cause of destroying the thing they love. because they want to complain. No one wants to work hard. No one, like the comp, like that just went away, right? And that was like the glue, I think, for Magic, right? Was that competitive, that drive, right? And then that once that was kind of washed out with this, like, you know, blue-haired people and stuff, well, then they lost all their value because they're like, well, we want them cheap. And then so Watsu was like, well, we'll oblige, right? Watsu was like, no problem, we got you. Reprints, we'll reprint everything. If any card gets over $50, boom, reprint. And like, here's a question: do you think that what percentage of Magic the Gathering players could name you all 9 of the Power 9 cards? Something to think about. I'm gonna say probably maybe 10 to 20%. I mean, that's really, guys, basically this comes down to, you know, is Magic doomed? Is it over? Is it, you know, is it gonna die? As someone, like, here, let me tell you, as someone who has been playing World of Warcraft since 2006, it'll never die. Just like you can take WoW and Magic, right? It'll never die. There's too much just attached to it. It's almost too big to fail, but it'll just amorphous into this just blob that is not what it once was. It's a husk of its former self. It essentially, it'll kill itself is how it works. So, the main reason I say these things is because when you look at Pokemon and you see how well it can be done and how perfectly it can be managed, and then you go look at WotC and Hasbro, and it's like the exact, you can see how just poorly it can be run and managed. And again, you know, you want to know how I would save Magic? Again, go look it up on my channel. You need a Magic the Gathering. They did that. I literally called this was before Foundations came out, so I almost had it right? Like, just go watch it. It's called Magic the Gathering anime or something like that. And if they would have come out with Foundations and attached an anime to it, boom. Like, Hasbro, what are you doing? You need to rebuild the IP. You need to strengthen it. You need to get kids. You need a character. I've done it before, right? Where I was talking about, like, you can show a Pikachu plushie to, like, an 80-year-old and she'll be like, the Pokemon, the Pikachu. Like, everybody knows Pikachu, right? Magic needs that. Magic needs some dumb plushie that I can shove in, like, half of the world's face and they can be like, oh, that's the thing from Magic the Gathering. They need that. If not, it's going to be SpongeBob and Final Fantasy and Marvel, and it's just like, I don't know, guys. Magic will not go anywhere. It's not going anywhere. But it's not what it is. Magic as it was is over. Reserve list doesn't matter. No one even knows. Again, how many Magic the Gathering players even care about the reserve list or even know? How many players can name 10 cards on the reserve list? Probably not. Again, probably 10-20% of players can name 10 cards on the reserve list. And I know you're probably screaming at you like, oh, I can't. Well, let's see. Yeah, because you're watching like some like obscure random dude on YouTube who has 300 followers talking about Magic the Gathering, so of course you can. But I don't know, guys. Magic is just, it seems to me like they're just pulling out every gimmick they can, and yes, I'm sure it'll, like, again, there's going to be stuff that succeeds, like the Lord of the Rings and stuff, right? But Magic as an IP, it's not looking good. It's over. It's done. Like, no one can, like, basically, I just let you guys know this is pretty much probably gonna be like my last Magic video unless some crazy news happens. But I mean, I'm pretty much done with Magic. Everything's going into Pokemon now. Pokemon, sorcery. That's about it for me, and a little bit of Flesh and Blood. But I just again, I still play it on my phone, but just look at the data. There's no reason to do, like, try and give me like two, besides like diversifying, which I've already got. Like, I'm not selling the Magic I have. I'm not selling it. I'll still hold it. But I see no reason to acquire more, really, unless there's like just really insane deals that pop up. But again, Magic the Gathering, Monopoly. Have a good one, guys.